The crystalline spires of the Zephyrian embassy gleamed under the artificial suns of Station Harmony, casting rainbow patterns across the diplomatic quarters. Adnan Hassan adjusted his translator collar one final time, watching through the reinforced viewport as the alien delegation prepared for first contact protocols. As Earth's youngest xenopsychologist, he'd spent 3 years studying every available piece of data on the Zephyrians, their silicon-based biology, their hive-like social structures, and most importantly, their legendary telepathic abilities. Remember, Director Chen's voice crackled through his earpiece. This is humanity's first formal introduction to a telepathic species. Whatever happens in there could determine our place in the galactic community. Nehal Qureshi, standing beside him in her pristine diplomatic uniform, nodded grimly. As Earth's lead negotiator, she carried the weight of 7 billion hopes on her shoulders. The Zephyrians have made it clear that physical contact is how they establish trust, she said, reviewing her notes one final time. Their primary telepath, the one they call the mind speaker, will need to touch one of us to read our intentions. Adnan had volunteered immediately. His psychological profiles showed exceptional mental resilience, and his years of meditation practice had given him remarkable focus. What the profiles didn't show, what nobody knew, was the chaos that constantly raged beneath his calm exterior. The embassy doors dilated with a sound like crystalline wind chimes. 3 Zephyrians glided forward, their translucent forms shifting between solid and ethereal states. The largest, adorned with pulsing geometric patterns, approached with movements that seemed to bend space around it. "I am Mind Speaker Veltar," the being communicated through harmonics that the translator converted to words. "We greet the children of Earth. To know your truth, to understand your hearts, I must touch one of your kind." Nehal stepped forward, but Adnan gently placed a hand on her arm. "I've got this," he whispered. The young man approached the alien telepath, his heart hammering against his ribs. Years of training kept his expression neutral, but internally, his mind raced with the usual symphony of human thought, fragments of childhood memories, random song lyrics, grocery lists, fears, dreams, mathematical equations from his doctorate studies, and the face of his grandmother who died when he was 12. Veltar extended what might have been an arm, ending in appendages that flickered between states of matter. The moment those ethereal fingers made contact with Adnan's forehead, everything changed. The alien's harmonic voice rose to a piercing shriek that shattered 3 light fixtures. Its form solidified completely as waves of shock rippled through its crystalline structure. Other Zephyrians in the chamber began to resonate in distress, their bodies flickering rapidly between states. "What?" Veltar's translator struggled with the alien's chaotic harmonics. "What are you? How do you function? How do you think?" But before Adnan could respond, the mind speaker's form went completely solid and crashed to the floor with the sound of breaking glass, unconscious. The remaining Zephyrians immediately surrounded their fallen colleague, their forms blazing with alarmed colors. Through their frantic harmonics, the translators caught fragments. Impossible. Too much. How do they survive? The noise. The beautiful, terrible noise. Nehal moved protectively toward Adnan, who stood frozen, still processing what had happened. "What did you do?" she whispered. Nothing. I just let him read my thoughts." Hours later, after the medical teams had stabilized Veltar and the diplomatic crisis had been temporarily defused, Adnan sat in the debriefing room with Nehal and Director Chen. Through the viewport, they could see the Zephyrian ship, its lights pulsing in what their xenobiologists interpreted as intense discussion. Veltar had finally awakened, but the mind speaker's first words through the translator had been both revelatory and terrifying. "Your species. You are all insane. Beautifully, wonderfully insane." Director Chen leaned forward. "Explain." The alien's form shimmered as it gathered itself. "We Zephyrians think in harmony. Our minds are ordered, structured, each thought flowing logically to the next. Our entire species shares this clarity." The being paused. Its colors shifting to what they'd learned indicated deep confusion. "But humans, your mind, young one, contained multitudes." Veltar's attention focused on Adnan. "In a single moment, you were simultaneously calculating hyperspace equations, remembering your grandmother's smile, worrying about whether you'd locked your apartment door, composing a message to someone named Sarah, planning your dinner, questioning the nature of existence, humming what you call music, and experiencing no fewer than 17 different emotional states. The mind speaker's form brightened with something approaching awe. And you do this constantly. All of you. You carry entire universes of contradicting thoughts, impossible emotions, paradoxical beliefs. By our standards, every human mind should collapse under the weight of its own chaos. Nihal found her voice. But we don't. No, Veltar agreed, its harmonics taking on reverent tones. You don't. You not only survive this mental storm, you thrive in it. You create art from chaos, find solutions in paradox, love despite logic, and hope against all reason. What we call madness, you call humanity. The alien paused, then added something that would change the course of human-alien relations forever. We came here expecting to find a young species suitable for guidance and protection. Instead, we have discovered gods who don't yet know their own power. Adnan felt a smile tugging at his lips as he thought about humanity's beautiful, chaotic nature, the same nature that had overwhelmed a being capable of reading the ordered minds of an entire telepathic species. So what happens now, he asked. Veltar's form shifted to colors they'd learned indicated deep respect. Now, young humans, we learn from you. And perhaps you can teach us how to create symphonies from the chaos of existence. As the Zephyrian delegation prepared to extend their stay indefinitely, Adnan looked out at the stars and realized something profound. Humanity's greatest weakness, their chaotic, contradictory, impossible minds, had just become their greatest strength in a universe full of orderly, predictable species. The mind speaker had touched a human and discovered that madness and genius were often the same thing. And in that moment, humanity's true journey among the stars had finally begun.